Joe.
Hi. Are you ready?
We have talked
The
about
look on your face.
well, because I just looked at my first note and I flashed back already. We have talked about on this show how hilarious it is sometimes on this show that the theme song to the OC is so upbeat and peppy and that it
hmm
just shows up in the worst places sometimes.
hmm
And this might be the most poorly placed moment for the theme song, where it literally is like Sandy Cohen yelling at Ryan to get his life together before he gets expelled from school. And he's just like, it's literally the equivalency of him just being like, so ship up or ship out.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Like, it's like such a serious, sad, dramatic moment for this jolly little piano to just start playing out of fucking nowhere.
But like at that time, right? Like we could do that. Fucking who was the worst offender? CSI Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, like at least, so think about it like this, because I'm going to go with Scrubs, one of my favorite shows of all time. They have a very jolly theme song. There was really dark, serious moments on Scrubs too,
mhm.
but they really tried to make sure that there was always a joke that led into that theme song.
Yeah.
It was never like, I'm sorry to report that you've got cancer. I can't do this all. Like, it was like they would, even if it was something.
I'm sorry,
super
sir.
serious,
She had a stroke. I can't do this all on my own. No, I know.
They always, even if it was a super serious episode, they would find at least one joke to get you to that theme song before they got back to the seriousness. But at this point in time, Ryan snapped. He beat the shit out of Oliver, and now he could potentially be expelled. Seth and Marissa are both being so fucking unreasonable right now. Like, Summer kind of believes Ryan. Luke is like ride or fucking die with Ryan right now. Even Sandy and Kirsten, like Sandy and Kirsten are upset with the way in which Ryan went about things, but they never act like he's incorrect about having his doubts about Oliver.
Yes.
Like, Seth and Marissa are just like, I don't understand what he's got a problem with Oliver. It's like, have you not seen the last 4 episodes?
Yeah. Don't you have fucking eyes? Can't you perceive reality?
Like, at all. It is insane. It is so fucking chaotic and insane to me, and it makes me so upset. And I want to tell you the moment that I realized that I had fully gone from I hate Luke to I love Luke
Mhm.
is in the moment where him, Oliver, Marissa, they're sitting at the table, right?
Yep. Mhm.
And
Oliver's trying to like get her to go to Mammoth.
he's trying to get her to go to Mammoth. The phone rings and it's Ryan. And Luke's like, hey, aren't you going to answer it? And then Oliver's like, she's not talking to Ryan right now. And he goes, well, is she talking to me? Because that's who I'm talking to right now. like he has like some sassy ass line where he's like,
Mhm.
motherfucker, stop talking for her. Like,
See, that's that gay dad sass
yeah.
right there. That's
Like, it is like, as soon as that happened, I'm like, man, I love Luke. I can't believe it. Like,
Mhm.
I'd slowly been growing to love Luke. Now, Luke is not without his faults here, and we'll get there. Actually, I'm not even going to blame Luke for what happens with Luke later on in this episode, but I already sense that there's going to be some new. I asked last week what could possibly be the new drama after Oliver. I think we get a very good hint of what the
you got a definitive answer.
But we'll save that. We'll try to stay somewhat on track. The Luke piece I feel like we could actually end on the Luke moment because it's very small, it's very brief. It doesn't play into the bigger plot of this episode, but it
Mhm.
gets us there. I would say the two main plot lines that we have in this episode is obviously the Ryan, Oliver, Marissa thing and everything that's
Mhm.
coming from that.
Mhm.
And Seth just continuing to not appreciate what he has with Anna because he is not over Summer.
Yep.
And this is, again, At the time that we're recording this, we're in the middle of Love is Blind season on Netflix. And
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing that happens on Love is Blind, and now there's a podcast hosted by two former contestants of Love is Blind called Out of the Pods, where they're giving their insight on this season of Love is Blind from their perspective of having to deal with producers and whatnot. And they both said, if you don't end up with your first choice, everything from that point on is a farce.
Mm.
And their point being, like, the few couples who have made it down the altar, have said yes, and have stayed married for a significant amount of time were people that, like, day 1 or 2, they had a connection with a person in those pods and they just kept pursuing that connection and didn't look back. They were fixated. The people who don't work out are the people who are juggling 3 or 4 girls or guys that they could be interested in. And if this person gets engaged, then I'll focus my energies on this
Mm-hmm.
person. And then what happens time and time again, I'm not sure if you've ever watched any of Love is Blind, but if you have, they get out of the pods, they get to meet and see what everybody else looks like. And then oopsie poopsie, the person that they ended up not going with, they're like, oh, she is pretty attractive. Oh no, maybe I have feelings for that person too. And then everything is built on a house of sand instead of a house of brick. Like, and
Okay, come on, scripture.
yeah, like, so Seth is just like, my heart literally breaks the scene
Mm-hmm.
where Anna is talking to Sandy in the kitchen and she's just like, did you read comic books when you were a kid? And he's like, yeah, but not like Seth. And she goes, does he not realize how rare it is to find someone who's a comic book person on his level and who likes those bands and likes sailing? She's like, because I spent my whole life thinking I was the only one until I met him. And like, it
Mm.
literally breaks my heart because, yes, last week we had the conversation of like, do you want to date a person who's exactly like you? And we both
Mm-hmm.
landed on no. But when you're in fucking high school, yes, you absolutely
Well,
want to date someone who's almost exactly like you. That is what high schoolers do. That is.
I mean, I different experience because it didn't work out between me and my girlfriend in high school because we had one very specific thing in common. um, but to that
What was
point,
that, Joe? Do you both like comedies?
Hold on. As the kids say, and this is only for this will be for TikTok. As the kids say, well, the thing about Anna, right, is that like there are people who want to date people who like the things that they like,
Yeah.
right? Like, and the heartbreaking part of it is like, I thought I was the only one, right?
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was the only one, and maybe she grows out of it. Who knows? I mean, like, I've definitely seen gay couples where they look like brothers.
Yeah.
So
They look
maybe
like
that's
the
what she
hit
wants.
comedy bros.
Not as put together. Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's just like, maybe maybe no, maybe yes, but no. I still stand by it. Like, I do not want to be with someone who is exactly like me. I need to be the only me.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot.
But this
Yeah.
is another episode. This might be the prime episode where I'm just like, fucking yes, Daddy Cohen. Like, he is just dropping facts and good advice and being an all-around perfect father throughout this entire episode. And the scene
Mhm.
where like he's alone with, there's 2 scenes back to back almost where he's alone with Seth. And the first one where he just straight up hits Seth in the back of the head and is just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he's like,
No.
you're flirting with another girl in front of your girlfriend. He's like, it's not flirting. I'm trying to teach Summer about comic books or whatever. And then there's the second time where he calls him out and he's just like, you are breaking this girl's heart. Like, you are, he's like, I didn't say anything to Annie. He's like, that's the fucking point. Like,
Yeah.
like you have your girlfriend on the couch and you're sitting next to a person who's supposed to just be your friend that you're totally platonic with. And your girlfriend has ceased to exist in front of you. Like, and that, like, whether it no longer becomes a case of oh, you shouldn't, or you should or shouldn't date someone who's exactly like you. It comes down to the common decency of when you should know to pull the fucking ripcord and get out of a bad
Mhm.
relation. Or get out. It's not even a bad relationship. Get out of a relationship where you're not in love,
Yeah.
because he's
Mhm.
clearly not. Like,
Mhm.
and you're bringing down a girl who I have said it before. I have a friend who absolutely hates Anna, and I don't understand why. Like, I can understand being like, oh, that was a pointless story. Like, clearly Summer is endgame. But like, Anna has said and
Mhm.
done nothing to make me go, oh, what a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, she just
Yeah.
seems like a genuinely sweet person. Of almost every character on the show, she's probably the only one that I, maybe Ryan to a certain extent, but she's probably one of the only ones where I'd be like, yeah, I would be friends with that person. Like,
She's also had every opportunity to be a bitch back,
a
like,
million
but
times.
yeah.
She has, to quote last week's episode, embraced the friend more than any other person has done on this
Mhm.
entire series. Like,
Mhm.
and she has more reason to not want to embrace that friend, because while all the other things are theoretical, like, she physically knows that Summer and Seth have kissed and that she has dated Seth
Mhm.
simultaneously with Summer. Like, she has more of a reason to be jealous and petty, and chooses to not be jealous and petty and try to take the higher ground, until it's thrown in her fucking face that Seth has not moved on one
Mhm.
bit from Summer. And it's really difficult to watch, and I don't hate Summer in this situation. I only really hate Seth in this scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's insane. But that's kind of their whole thing, right? They're having like a weird sleepover watching the Batman animated series and reading comic books
Mhm.
together, and that's it ends with, I'm assuming, I don't know if she's gone for good, but definitely it seems like the relationship is officially done, buried. There is no longer a Seth and Anna. It is just Seth the single Cohen until he dates Summer at this point.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Where yeah, there will be a satisfying thing in the future with Anna, but yeah.
she needs to find happiness. She deserves it.
Mm.
Not the
Yeah.
actress, but but the character.
No, no. The character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
always clarify that just because
Yeah.
I need to. So let's jump to the Ryan Oliver of it all. So Ryan leaves a voicemail for Marissa and says, "Hey, I really need to talk to you. Let's meet at the library." As soon as Oliver has an opportunity, takes the phone, listens to the voicemail, deletes the voicemail so that Marissa doesn't get it, and then shows up in the library, and they have this very like vague book chat about
Yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
Which I actually wrote down that the scene in the library feels like it would fit into a Scream movie. Like, like it's just like I don't know you're I don't know for sure that you're a villain, but I've got a pretty good idea, and you're talking in like weird code that I don't like or appreciate. But
Mhm.
again, like, it is called into question. Seth even says it, like, is coming to the school while you're up for expulsion the best plan, Ryan Atwood? Because I'm leaning towards probably not.
Yeah.
Like Seth's
Also,
been
you
the
live right next to
you
her.
live
Like,
next to her. Exactly. Like, Seth has been the bearer of bad advice most of the last couple episodes, but like, the you probably shouldn't do this here is the only piece of legitimate good advice that he's given him right now. Like, don't do this. And Sandy, same thing. He's like, I don't care that you dislike Oliver. Like, you
mhm.
might be
Mhm.
very right to dislike Oliver, but you know that if you get in trouble, we can't do shit to help you. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm angry that you didn't come to me and be like, this is what's happening. I need to know what to do. And we'll get there, because that builds to something fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like literally, like, I literally yelled fuck yes at one point while watching this. Um, but the Luke and Ryan bromance over their mutual distrust and of Oliver is like
Mhm.
so great. Like,
Mhm.
Luke and Seth watch as Oliver convinces Marissa to skip school. And Luke is like, maybe Ryan's right. Like, maybe Ryan is right that Natalie doesn't exist. Like, I have friends that go to that school. I'm going to do some research. And like, him showing up, he is showing up. Think about it through this
Yeah.
lens. He is showing up at the house of the dude who basically stole his girlfriend. Now, Luke cause that relationship to end.
Yeah.
Like that, there is a very clear distinction between like actually stealing. Oliver is legitimately stealing a girlfriend. He is
Yeah.
manipulating a situation to his benefit to make sure that that
Mhm.
situation ends. Ryan, the timing may not have been great, but he showed
No.
up while Luke was fucking around and finding out and
Yeah.
causing Marissa to suddenly become a eligible single woman for the charming new tough guy from the bad side of the tracks to show up. Like he does the deep dive. He's like, Natalie doesn't fucking exist. Like she is not a person at that school. And this is the moment where Luke slowly becomes my favorite character and Marissa is slowly becoming my least favorite because Ryan maybe foolishly goes next door where he should have gone the first time he needed to talk
Yeah.
to Marissa and is like, look, Natalie doesn't exist. And Marissa is totally irrational, not even remotely willing to take in any of this information, freaks out, then yells at him for telling her mom, you should keep an eye out on this Oliver dude. Like,
Yeah.
also, Julie Cooper, 1000%, if someone's giving you that information, you probably shouldn't say your source.
Yeah.
Like, you should be like, well, Ryan told me. Like,
Well, she's also like, I mean, she is Julie Cooper, right? So she's also the person who is just gonna like throw Ryan under the bus, no matter like, because it's gonna drive a wedge between them, no matter what. So masterful play on that, Julie Cooper.
yeah. So that pisses off Marissa. Marissa goes to Oliver's house.
Hmm. You mean the penthouse of this fucking hotel?
The penthouse of this hotel, the next 15 minutes is fucking chaos. So
Yeah.
so Marissa goes downstairs to see if her bags have shown up because she's asked Luke to go pick up her things and bring it to the hotel. More on that later. We'll put a we'll put a pin there for a second. She goes down, notices that the woman running the front desk's name is Natalie.
And your last name wouldn't happen to be Bishop, is it?
Yeah. The I mean, good for her for finally jumping to the conclusion, but like
Yeah.
all round bad call. Like you couldn't come up with a fake girlfriend name, so you just used the woman who runs the front desk at the hotel as if that wouldn't
Yeah.
ever in a million years possibly come back up. Like,
Yeah. Also, like, hold on, pause. Like, Marissa really is living in her own fucking world, right? Because she has she ever seen a picture of Natalie? Has she like you know, I get it, you're
well,
living
that's
in
the
a
thing. They
hotel,
said
but
like,
like,
have any of you ever met or spoken to her or seen a
yeah.
photo of her? Like what situation where you've been friends with someone? If I was friends with you and I are friends. If I said, "Hey, I started seeing somebody," one of the first things you're going to be is like, "Ooh, can I see a picture?" What,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
like, that's just
We're
natural.
millennials who grew up in the age of catfish. Like,
Yeah, like
yes.
insane. I'm like, "Oh, cool. Let's see a photo. Oh, look at that. Oh, she is cute." And sometimes it's like voyeuristic. You're like, "Let me see what this bitch looks like,"
Hmm.
but then other times it's just legitimate. Like, I want to see. I care about you and would love to know what this person whom you care about
Hmm.
looks like because if things work out well, they will be part of my friend circle also one of
Hmm.
these days. Like
Hmm.
that's the second that like this girlfriend's never fucking around and always has a reason to not be there, my
Hmm.
like my red flags are already like starting to go up. This confirms to Marissa, oh no, Ryan has been right the whole time. So she shows up,
Yeah.
she tries to play it cool by not playing it cool whatsoever and just calling
No,
out the Natalie thing immediately to Oliver's face, to which Oliver goes full freak out mode. Starts like hitting himself and like,
I know. Like, my favorite thing in any movie, TV show is when you want to show mental instability and they start hitting their face and head, right? It's
yeah.
like, stupid, stupid,
Yeah, it's like that
no.
is so not it. But
Yeah.
again, it actually
Yeah.
ties back to my previous statement because Oliver goes full fucking Billy and Stu in
Mhm.
the third act of Scream, where he's just like lost his mind and is screaming nonsense. So he goes to the other room. She quickly calls Ryan to be like, please come and get me. I'm
Mhm.
scared. she's not really whispering because Oliver can hear it from wherever he's at and immediately gets a gun.
No, he comes out with the gun.
Yeah,
Like,
he
so
comes out with the gun, but
left,
he says that he heard her. Like, he's like, I heard you on the phone with him, so
but
I
like
got the
he
gun for
left and
me
then
because if
came
you
back with
leave.
it.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. But he, like, so he's planning to kill himself potentially in front of Marissa, which is so fucked
It's
up.
giving Patch Adams.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the moment where I screamed, fuck yes. Is Ryan's got the keys. He's about to go out the door. And Sandy Cohen's like, give me the keys. Give me the goddamn keys. And Ryan's like, he's like, I told you I'd help you if you listen to me. Will you give me the keys? And he gives him the keys. He's like, I'll drive you. And it's like, fuck yes, Sandy Cohen, you go in there like two fucking baller ass, like fucking detective and partner rolling into this shit like Batman and Robin kicking in the door to save Marissa. Which again, like, duh, Ryan. Like, do you think that you would have gotten anywhere near that hotel room if it was just you asking information? Like, Seth Cohen's walking in there. He's got credentials as a lawyer. He's got like you know what I mean? It's like, it's something. He can establish himself as somebody to get them in there. So they get up there. They knock on the door and like Oliver's like, oh, I'm out of the shower. I'm naked. And it's like, oh, I guess we're done. Like, he seems like he's fine. And that's when Ryan freaks out, starts banging on the door. Marissa yells that he's got a gun and they very quickly get in there. They dissolve the situation. Ryan somehow dissolves the situation. I absolutely hate this scene. I hate the dialogue in this scene. It's so stupid. There's no moment in this world that you can convince me that Ryan Atwood is going to be the person to talk down Oliver from a situation.
Yeah. He's the one who's been wanting to like rip his fucking guts out. He punched him. He did the Atwood thing, right? He punched him across the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. Also, can we talk for a minute about the gun itself?
I was so ready for that thing to just go off at any moment. He's just waving around all loosey-goosey.
He's waving it around. Gun safety. He obviously has never taken a gun safety course because like his hand is like in the thing. And like, here's the thing. I mean, we're living in a post-Rust age, right? Where it's like, you really need to be aware of like what's happening with your arms on an armory and on a set. But like this like Walther PPK like James Bond gun fucking thing, and he's just like, his hand is his fingers in the trigger. He's like, scratching his head with it.
He's scratching his head with the gun.
Also, too, like, I don't care how fucking fancy your hotel is. I don't think I have ever been to a hotel where I saw security and they were fucking armed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever been to a hotel. Like, these hotel security guards in, like, the suits and the red ties, like, they have guns drawn on him. And I'm like,
ready.
Where are you staying?
Yeah. Like, that was another thing. I'm like, maybe, call police as backup. Hey, I think something serious is happening. But there ain't no fucking way hotel security's rolling in there packing. Ready to go.
Also, if this was fucking HBO, he would have shot himself
right in the head. Oh my god, I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna put the gun in his mouth before we know it. Gunshot. It's gonna be horrific. And then I'm like, oh wait, it's fucking Fox at 8 p.m. or whatever. Like, they ain't gonna show that shit. But there's one thing we got to talk about. It's a small little scene, but Luke goes over to get the clothes. A recently dumped by Caleb. Dumped by Kirsten on behalf of Caleb. Julie Cooper is in there.
First of all, Caleb with his fucking, like, anytime he says Kiki, like, the chills, Kiki or Juju, like, chills up my fucking spine.
Yeah.
Like, he's not calling Haley hey. Like, like, it's bad. This Kiki, this Juju bullshit. I'm like, no, it chills up my spine. My butthole clenches. Like, I cannot stand it.
Well, let's just say that Julie Cooper learned a thing or two from Caleb. And what she learned was that it's totally all right to date someone way too young for you. Because she goes in and gives Luke a big ass kiss. And I just about lost my goddamn mind. Because you and I have both agreed the worst episode so far has been The Girlfriend.
Yeah.
And now we're going to dabble into this. This is where we're going next with this shit.
Girl. Get ready. Wait, have you watched Beyond This?
No.
Oh, girl.
Oh man, is Luke gonna fuck Julie Cooper next week? Is that
My nails are painted, and it's looking like we need to look at the calendar so that way we can schedule it so you can watch it. Because, girl, let me tell you.
I am I'm ready to be disgusted, I guess. But
Well, like fully, because what we don't really know what age Luke is, right? He's
well, you know what I can
presumably.
guess? He's a high schooler.
Uh,
Like, so unless he's particularly stupid, he's 18 or younger. And Julie
yes,
Cooper is the age of a mother who has an 18-year-old or younger.
yes,
So
a mother of
his
his
ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
ex-girlfriend.
Oh my god, it's like I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I would be more accepting of Julie Cooper kissing Ryan than I am her kissing Luke. Both fucking gross and disgusting, but at least one hasn't been established as bidding your house. This is like some straight up Stacy's mom shit happening right now.
Mm-hmm,
Oh my
mm-hmm.
god, it's
But
so
like,
ugh. Ugh.
like Stacy's mom with a little bit of like the like full swelling score of 50 Shades of Grey, right? Like,
Yeah, it's not great. It's with like slight elements of The Graduate. Like it's just like none of it is good. None of it is good. There's some Stifler's mom shit happening here. Um, and also like I don't think I'm in love with the reason why Julie gets fired. Like
mm-hmm,
it's like what you gave her a job and then she actually took the job seriously. Like at the end of the day, that's what happened. I hate to say
yeah,
it, but like Caleb, you gave her a position, you gave her free reign. She started doing things with the position in free reign. Like there's a
yeah,
million and one reasons to dump Julie Cooper. Her actually doing her job should not be the final
yeah.
straw. Like,
Well, I mean, she also like is actually good at it. That's
yeah,
the other.
yeah, she's
That's the
qualified.
other fucking thing about it.
Yeah, like if she did a bit, like you can't like have her lose you a bunch of money or some shit. Like
Yeah,
she showed up at the house early after reading the EPA reports and wanting to go over them with Kirsten. Like not a
hmm,
bad situation. Like I get that like
yeah,
there's some weirdness between Kirsten and Julie. I get it. But at the same time, I think Kirsten could benefit from someone who's actually doing research before work and giving a shit about their findings.
yeah. Also, like, what? I hate to say this about my girl, right? But like, what have we actually seen Kirsten work? We've seen her have lunch. We've seen her like
Burn down a head.
just gesture in a kitchen and presumably have made food. Like, which also like what happened to their housekeeper?
I told you, Ryan showed up, and that's how he gets allowance.
Yes. He, this is the fan theory on Reddit, right?
Yeah.
Ryan is actually their indentured servant.
Yes,
And
100%. Like that's the only thing that makes sense because you're right. Literally, from the second Ryan has moved into that house, the housekeeper has ceased to exist in that home.
the housekeeper is now living in the house that's abandoned
Yeah.
in Gino.
Yeah, it
So
is.
good for her.
Yeah, she's moving on up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a hell of an episode. I was texting a friend and they were possibly going to come over to watch the episode with me and they're like, "What episode?" And I said, "The Truth, episode 18 of season 1," and they just wrote in all caps, "Ooh, that's a good one." So here we are. The new standings, love Luke, hate Marissa.
We have like 3 more seasons left in this season.
Yeah, exactly. There's 9 episodes left. They could be off to college before I know it. But
The White Lotus seasons 1 and 2 fit into the first half of this season.
yeah, it is insane. This is insane. But I also get why people got burnt out by the time they were rolling into like season 3 because this is
Yeah.
too much. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like credit where credit's due. People may complain about boring episodes of shows like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones, but like
Mhm.
sometimes you need a breather episode that nothing big happens in
Yeah.
because this is
Sometimes you need like, 2 meth cooks trying to kill a fly in a lab.
100%. Like sometimes after you've just watched a lot of people fucking die, one of my favorite episodes of Game of Thrones, and I think that this is actually a pretty well liked episode, is in the last season. It's the episode right before the giant war against the White Walkers, where it's literally
Oh, where
just
they're
It's
Yeah.
just like people sitting around a fire talking. It's
Yeah.
such a low key, low energy episode for the most part. Like there's that overlying sense of dread that the war could start at any minute, but it's like such a nice breather before you
Wait,
get to this hour and 15-minute long war scene the next week. Like it
isn't that also the episode where Jamie and Brienne like fuck? Is that right?
No, 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 no. This is the episode where they knight Brienne.
Oh yes, they make her a knight of men, right? The knight
Yeah.
of the seven realms or whatever,
Yeah,
seven
they
kingdoms.
they
Yeah.
knight her. No, Arya loses her virginity in that episode.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
To Gendry?
Yeah.
No.
Or
Yeah,
whoever it
Gendry,
is,
right?
like the squire basically. Uh,
Podrick?
Podrick. Yes. I think maybe I can't remember. Man, it's not a season
No,
I
it's
revisit.
Gendry.
Yeah, it's
It is
Gendry.
Gendry because Podrick's the one with a huge cock. So yeah,
Yes,
no.
everybody wants to fuck Podri. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, I was like, I love that episode. Nothing really happens in it. Like things happen, but like not what you tune into Game of Thrones for. Like it's
Well, because
and I
they're
think that
edging
that's what's
you, right?
killing
Like,
me right now. Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes edging is a good thing.
I was gonna. It's like,
Hi, friends. The world got you down. Don't be sad. Listen to $2 Late Fee with Zach and Dustin.
$2 Late Fee is the podcast that celebrates the best decade of entertainment, the 1980s. We pick a movie and soundtrack from our youth that we loved and see if it holds up today. We also interview your favorite celebrities from that era.
All in the spirit of positivity and togetherness. Check us out at $2latefee.com.
Speaking of edging, it's the name of the newest Blink-182 song that's on the chart. So let's talk about music. This might be, I can't speak for you, Joe, but I feel like this is the easiest one
okay.
we've ever had to do because there's only 4 songs in this episode. But for a while, I literally thought that I was going to just see that it was the same song written 4 times because it shows up so many goddamn times in this episode. So we've got the Eels' Love of the Loveless, which plays multiple times when Ryan's alone in his room. I Am Clute with 3 Foot Tall, which plays when everyone is talking about Ryan at the school lounge. As a Ray's New Resolution plays when Seth and Luke watch Oliver and Marissa walk off and decide to find out more about Natalie. And then Turn-In Breaks Self-Help plays as Seth and Ryan talk in the pool house about the Oliver situation. I mean, I think you agree with me on that. It's got to be the Eels song that we heard 3 times.
Yeah. Because like when you have this motif, right, like you're really driving it home, and they wouldn't have done that, every single time. It's like in like the first 2 Christmaka episodes, like in seasons 1 and then season 2, they use the same like maybe this Christmas will mean something more. Like it is effective for what it's trying to do.
No, there is a good thing in repetition. I'm a huge fan of Eels, and I was like, ooh, maybe they'll do like different songs, but nope, they only paid for the one. They just played the one a couple different times. But I love of the Loveless, fine song, really fits the scenes. But yeah, that was the easiest. By the time I heard it 3 times, I'm like, yeah, okay, we know what's winning this one this week. Let's talk pop culture real quick. What pop culture anything have you been experiencing, taken in, been in the discussion of?
You know what, my dear Matt? I'm going to say something that is completely uncharacteristic of me.
Your pop culture
and
now?
you will see soon. No. I'm all about the pop culture. My pop culture thing, and it's a big deal for the city of San Diego, is that the San Diego State Aztecs have made it to the Final Four for March Madness, the NCAA men's basketball, for the first time in the program's history.
Who are you, and what did you do with my co-host?
I am a replicant. This is just want you to know. But yeah, this is a huge deal, and I've not been following, and I will not follow because my superstition is typically that if I watch a game that everyone's really looking forward to watching,
and it goes badly, it's your fault.
It's my fault. So I will promise to not watch, but I will say that it is a huge thing because like this city is like, I've been living here since 2004. I've lived here over more than half my life. Like, the last few years, like about sports, like it's been amazing. Like with the Padres last year, we're having a real soccer culture. Like we're becoming kind of like I think we're on track to be kind of like the women's the women's soccer version of the Portland Timbers.
Okay.
Which, if you know, like,
I don't,
I
but
think you, yeah.
but
Well, like
sure.
the Portland Timbers, there's a huge culture around like going to a Timber, like Soccer City USA is like what they call Portland because it was one of the first adopters of professional soccer. But we're having such a renaissance, and the story and the human drama of San Diego State making it is amazing. Winning by 1 point in the Elite Eight to make it to the Final Four. They were on track to make it into March Madness in 2020, and then their hopes were dashed because, you know, the coronavirus. And so now that we're back again, like fucking Sarah Jacobs, our congresswoman, like who represents the district, like said it openly on the House floor. Like it's a big deal for this city, and I think that people are really excited. I'm excited for them as someone who likes sports movies more than actual sports.
Dude, I can talk at length about how much Ted Lasso affects me emotionally. I couldn't even tell you a rule in soccer.
Yeah. I know that like it's 90 minutes and it may end in a tie.
I know that the band Yellow Card got their name from soccer.
Yes.
So mine is going to be very brief because this was a while ago, obviously. I've been writing down all of the pop culture moments as they happen in real time and then just put them in my episodes in order. So like this might have been like 4 months ago at this point. But I finally watched the final season of Dead to Me, which was a show that I had lukewarm feelings of throughout most of its run. I thought that sometimes it was really great. Other times I thought it was just fine. But I think that the finale, similar to another show that I controversially think that the final episode is greater than the overall ride it took to get there, 6 Feet Under. I think that Dead Like Me has a phenomenal final episode. I don't know if it justifies all 3 seasons existing, but it is a beautiful, it's a beautiful conclusion. And like I said, I feel this. I think that if you ask me what the greatest finale of any TV show ever is, I would say 6 Feet Under. But I don't know I don't know if that ending justifies all 6 seasons of that show. I think that show has really high highs, but it also has some pretty low lows. And I think that it drags at points. Like I've watched 6 Feet Under from front to back multiple times, but it's definitely a show that at the end of the day, what I'm watching it for is to get to the satisfaction of how beautiful the ending is. And that's how I felt about Dead Like Me was, man, the ending is so satisfying. So I guess my pop culture moment is a show having a truly satisfying conclusion.
I love it.
All right. Well, the truth is out about Oliver.
Hold on. And that's a series wrap on Oliver.
Yay. But not on Anna.
Not on Anna yet.
Okay. So
but,
we'll find out if Anna. We'll find out if next week is a series wrap on Anna. We'll find out if Julie Cooper fucks Luke next week. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
You don't think they fucked? You don't think they fucked?
I don't know. They kissed and then I guess he did never show up at the hotel with her bags. So maybe next week's episode starts with them in bed post-coital.
Yeah, I mean, like, where was Caitlin with China? Like, with Jimmy probably at the Balboa.
Every time that she comes up is the only time I remember that Marissa has a sister. That sister has not been shown on camera for months. But yes, we will see what happens next at Newport Beach here on White People Problems.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.